Christine Lisi right now, not one, but two NFL games on this Monday, October 19th. The first kicks off in an hour with the 4-1 Chiefs and 4-1 Bills. Then the Cowboys welcome the Cardinals on Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, ESPN TV. Quarterback Andy Dalton making his first start for Dallas, which needs to rely on the run, advises Monday Night Football analyst Brian Griese.
I think they have an opportunity with three of the best wide receivers in the National Football League and Zeke Elliott behind him. They have to run the football. Mike McCarthy has said as much for a number of reasons: to protect their defense, to get time of possession back on their side, and then to take play-action shots down the field. That'll be the recipe against Arizona tonight.
The Panthers have instructed players, coaches, and other staff to work virtually from home today and tomorrow after receiving an unconfirmed positive test for COVID-19. For the first time since 2002, the Patriots are under 500 this deep into an NFL season. The quarterback Cam Newton's not worried. On WEEI, Newton said there's no need to press the panic button or to start reinventing the wheel. Added they have the answers in the locker room. 2-3 New England hosts San Francisco on Sunday.
Want to know what's really scary? Seeing just how much you could have been saving on car insurance by switching to Geico. It's almost as scary as watching your dog growl at the wall and realize he sees something you don't. Get a quote at geico.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a proof.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Hope you had an awesome weekend. My goodness, I did. An unplanned weekend off was right on time. I know for a lot of us, I'm sure for you as well, certainly for the LSU football team, which got an opportunity to get off their feet, to get healthy, and by all indications, that's what they did, according to Ed Ogeron. Save one very key player. Ed Ogeron today meeting with the media, previewing the LSU South Carolina game, gave the update on Myles Brennan that many people probably weren't excited to hear.
He was not going to play last week. We expected him back early during the week. I just talked to Jack. He's questionable. It's taking a little bit more time for him to heal, and he's going to be questionable for the game.
So Ed Ogeron declaring Myles Brennan questionable for the game. Pressed Ed a little more, and I asked the question if he could disclose what the injury was, and this is what he said.
Myles has a significant injury to his lower body, something that we do believe is going to heal. It's taking a little bit more time to heal, and we thought he'd be back today, but he's not, and I don't know if he's going to play this game.
So that's certainly concerning. And I'll tell you, last week, early in the week is when it was indicated that, to me anyway, that the injury was more serious than just Myles was sore. Midweek is when I was told flatly he wasn't going to play, and they were preparing to start Max Johnson against Florida. And that's whenever the word came out. Obviously, the game was postponed. And then Ed on his coach's show said as much that night as well. But it was also told mid last week that it was more serious, and they weren't even sure that he was going to be ready for South Carolina. And now here we are on Monday of South Carolina week, and Myles Brennan's not going to practice today. He's still very much in question for Saturday. Y'all, Ed Ogeron is the most candid coach I've ever covered. I mean, think about it. How many coaches would ever disclose an injury to their quarterback, let alone the Monday of game week like he did last week? I mean, Ed is, and I respect it tremendously because I've always said that the paranoia effect among coaches has never made much sense to me. it doesn't put you at this gigantic competitive disadvantage if people know that your quarterback is taking the day off because he's a little hobbled. I mean, whatever the case may be. I guess the point is, if Ed, because he's as candid as he is, if they knew the severity of this, he'd tell you. I think what's indicated here is kind of what I was told last week and what seems to be the case, which is it's a little bit of a different kind of injury, and they're really not sure how long it's going to take Myles Brennan to recover from it. Is it going to be this week against South Carolina? Like, might he feel better later in this week and be able to play? Or is it going to take another week? It's going to be longer than that. I really legitimately think it's indefinite. Like, they really don't know how long it's going to take him to get back from this. So, I mean, there's a very obvious part of this, which is it just sucks for Myles Brennan. I mean, that's the most obvious part of all this. I mean, we're going to talk about the freshman quarterbacks and how it impacts LSU in the season and all that, but everybody was pulling for this guy. I mean, everybody. I mean, unless if you're like a direct rival playing LSU on that given day, I think everyone looks at Myles Brennan and realizes, look, that's a guy who is such an outlier in this world of college football. A guy that waited his turn, who finally got his chance to play, struggled a little bit in that opener, and has gotten better each of the following 2 weeks and was really playing very good football. And now this happens, and he's out for an indefinite amount of time. And it sucks for him. There's just no other way to say it. I mean, I think everybody feels very badly for Myles Brennan. But LSU has to prepare to play this game as if they're not going to have him. If he's good to go, great, but they have to prepare like he won't be there. So Ogeron was asked about the freshman, and can you play 9, please? He was asked about the freshmen and getting them ready for this week.
To be honest, they both had fantastic weeks. Both of them are very impressive. I believe both of those guys have NFL talent, quarterback. Now, they haven't been in the live action. They're both freshmen, but we're going to practice both of those quarterbacks this week. We're going to tell them whoever has the best week is going to start. And I plan on giving both of them a chance during the game. Either one starts, I want to see what they can do, and the only way to do it is under live action.
I think that's a completely fair way to approach it and the right thing to do. Ever since these quarterbacks have been on campus, I've had people around that program tell me that they think Max Johnson is going to be special. That's the word. But you can think it, and you can see something in practice, or you can watch high school film, but until you get out there on a football Saturday and there's live bullets flying, you really don't know. So you've got to see what both guys can do, and I respect that. If you're going to be able to play one of them, you should play both of them to find out what each can do in an actual game setting, and you won't know, as Ed said, until you get out there and do it. Ed also talked a little more here about about Max Johnson and TJ Finley.
I think it's a combination of both. We'll see what South Carolina gives us on defense and who best suits to play it. But they got to have a good week. We're not going to give it to anybody. They're going to have to perform. Last week both of them were ready to start in the swamp, and so they got prepared for that. They didn't know who was going to start, so it's going to be the same thing this week. Now we're playing at home, which should be easier for them, but obviously being the first game for any one of them is going to be a little nervousness, but I think both of them can handle it.
It certainly sounds like Ed Ogeron is talking like those guys are going to play. I mean, I don't want to jump to a conclusion or rule out Myles Brennan playing, but it certainly sounds like Ed Ogeron is talking as if that's what's going to happen. And it feels like that's the reality LSU is facing right now. and just how quickly things can snowball. The question was asked of Ed Ogeron, if the freshmen play well, could they basically Wally Pipp Myles Brennan?
No, Myles has shown that he can be our quarterback. I mean, he's had 3 phenomenal football games. We like Myles, but hey, I'm telling you, these 2 young quarterbacks are great players. And I'm anxious to see what they can do, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, Myles is our starting quarterback.
So, if you're wondering, I'm looking at South Carolina's defense today, and their pass defense has been susceptible now against Tennessee, Jarek Garantano threw for 261 yards and a score. Kyle Trask shredded him. 21 of 29, 268, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Against Vanderbilt, they played their best football. I'll get with an asterisk, which I'll talk about in a second. But the Vandy quarterbacks were 18 of 27 for $173, a touchdown and a pick, and that was 2 freshman quarterbacks from Vandy that played. So if you want a comparable analysis, that would probably be it. And then this week against Auburn, Bo Nix was 27 of 47, 272, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. The turnovers are really what sparked South Carolina this weekend. So not an elite defense, but a good SEC defense that's found a way to win a couple of games now after starting 0-2. They beat Vandy and Auburn, and this is a challenge. It's not quite the challenge it would have been for freshman quarterbacks playing in the swamp with their first ever action, but a challenge nonetheless, first game being at home against South Carolina. That's if Myles Brennan is unable to go, and it certainly seems as of right now like that's the reality LSU's facing. All right, much more on this as we move through the day and the week. As we have more, we will certainly let you know. We'll knock out our first break of the show, brought to you by Relief Windows. When we come back, our good friend Tim Brando is going to jump aboard with us. Fox College Football play-by-play man.